Hi there. So it's lock noob again. Last time we were talking, we were showing different picking techniques with one of these plastic practice locks. I personally really like these, with the caveats, of course, that it's not a real lock. It's easy to pick. You will get into it pretty much with anything, frankly. It's good to demonstrate certain techniques. But don't kid yourself. If you can open one of these, you can open any lock. But it's good to open them, trust me. When you're first learning, you feel all powerful when you first open one of these locks. So I'm going to put that back away, add its keys into my kit, and I'm going to pull out a couple of other locks. The much maligned, and for good reason, Master Lock number 3, and its bigger brother. I think it's a Master Lock XL. This has a security rating around 5, I think. This 9. So you would sort of expect that this will give you security. It's okay, but this is a 9 out of 10. This should be able to lock up golden bars, evil dictators, and the such like. It turns out that there's a bit of a difference here, not just in price. This is a better made lock. It's really strong. This is not metal, it's boron carbide. It's really, really, really tough, this shackle. I mean, this takes some snipping off if you're going to use bolt cutters. This is a hardened shackle. You could probably use it to lock up a locker in a workplace maybe, but they're really made badly. They're very low security locks. This is only rated a 9 because it's actually hard to get into. It's a relatively well made lock. You're going to have a hard time sort of hitting it, snapping it, cutting it. But the inside, this bit, the important bit, I think you might be surprised about how they just didn't put any money into putting security pins into these. So I'm going to have a go at getting into a couple of these locks. If the video breaks, it's because I've edited it basically so that it looks like I'm getting into these things really quickly and professionally. But trust me, even these locks still provide me with a bit of a challenge now and again. You can see with this Master Lock, the bitting of the keys, relatively shallow, as you'd expect. You know, it's got it goes high, low, 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 basically. As you'd expect, you could probably get into that relatively quickly with a number of different rakes, and I hope you can demonstrate that. The other lock has a key like this, a bit more challenging, a bit more up and down, some lows and high pins here, so we can have a go at that, but assuming that is the right key. Well, let's try it. There we go. And actually, this is don't you see? It's a sprung core. It does spring back as you turn it. So and it's key retaining at that point. And you see it turn it back round. It's got a good kind of amount of force when you're turning this. It makes it a bit harder to pick. Okay, you can go over here for a minute. Let's concentrate on Mr. Master Lock. I'm going to use a relatively slim tension wrench on him. Got quite a wide keyway. I'm going to reach around my iPad. See if we can't get into him. Okay, I've got some tension on that. Let's see if we can get into this number 3 relatively easily. I don't know if I will, but moderate tension, just scrubbing back on those pins. And if it doesn't, oh, there we go. So this is using my personal favourite, the snake rake. Let's try it again with something a bit different. The city rake. Some success with this one, but not always. So You notice sometimes with this, by the way, even if I don't get it open with this rake, I'm letting go every now and again because I might be pushing the driver pins further down into the lock than I need to. So go. I'll give this a few more seconds. If it doesn't work, well, this is a valuable lesson. If it doesn't work, leave it. Either try it again later, when luck might shine down you a little bit better, or just use a different rake. Okay, so that isn't working out for me. That's cool. I have other tools. The snake rake worked. I'm just being greedy. Can I get in using the Bogota? Possibly. Answer? No. So there we go. It looks like the snake rake is one to use on this lock. If snake rake works, possible this the snowman will. Nope, it looks like the snake rake is the only one which wants to play today. Does bring me on to, however, maybe using one of these diamonds. Here we go. So again, I can go in, I can use it as a half, I can scrub back and forth. I can also use it to push down on some of the pins. Let's see. There we go. So again, this this diamond, I really like them. Do I like the modern hooks in the right lock? Yeah, I do. I actually think that you can get a better feel. You know when you're pushing against the pin, because it'll rise up against a bound pin, and you can just feel that. Then you can push it down, or you can just scrub back and forth and open it. Okay, which brings me on to, I mean, look, I've opened this a couple of times. One thing I would say is, why didn't it work with some of the rakes? Well, it's not supposed to. When you look at these, just look at the profiles. They're vastly different. As opposed to, rakes are supposed to be a set of tools which allow you to offer up different fake key bidding profiles to the pins in the lock. So this worked. I've used it before. I like this one. I know it works in that lock. There's no harm in you know, trying out a few of these other ones. And if you go for this one first and it doesn't work, that's all right. Go for this one. If that one doesn't work, that's all right too. Go for this one. If those don't work, try some other rakes. If none of them work, well, you've probably got a high security lock that can't be raked. Single pin picket. If you can't single pin picket, go to another lock. Now this lock here, talking about that, this lock here is actually, you know, it's quite a good lock in some ways, but a few things. One, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 pins in. This is a 9 security lock. You should have more than that many pins. I mean, that's not good. Not for an expensive. It's about £20 this lock. I'm going to use a Bogota from another set. I like this one a lot. This is from UK Bump Keys. Shout out to those guys. This is from their Dangerfield Serenity kit. Nice, very slim stainless steel. And this is another Bogota. If you compare it to the Southall one, and I'll do them end to end for you. Look at the difference in amplitude. The wavelength in terms of the difference in the peaks is about the same, but the depth of the southward is more so. The Dangerfield Serenity Bogota, well, it just needs an extra bit of love and attention. You know, it is thinner. It's more like to have weak points in it. But is it useful? Oh yeah. Just because you got two Bogotas doesn't mean they're the same. There is a difference. Also, not a lot of people have pointed this out, but whilst this is where you're supposed to scrub against the pins here, you can use it as a jiggler using the bottom curves here. There's nothing wrong with that. The only downside is that this angle at the front is supposed to replicate the teeth on a key. Okay, you can see that the front of the key is also sloped upwards to push the pins out of the way as they go by. If you start to turn this upside down, this itself could dig into the pins as it tries to slide past them. Okay, you imagine if it's this way up, it might lift the pin. If it's like this, you've got to be careful that you slide under the pins and then move up. Why am I telling you this? Well, through trial and error, I found that this very high security, expensive, well-built master lock might not just be as secure as all that. By the way, this will almost certainly show me up now. Okay, you've got to get over the spring tension a little bit, hold it. Notice I'm not going in this way, I'm going in upside down. And let's see if I can't encourage it to open up slightly. Try this again. There we go. I hope you actually got that on camera. And you can see here that I've opened this lock up. I've actually got all my picks still inside. I can gently remove them. You can see that I've got that open. Put that back in and click. There we go. It's locked up again. And you can't remove this core, so this is a bog standard 1/ounce. It's got some, you know, the bidding on this key it's relatively challenging. And I suppose it's because it's a 4-pin that it's part of its security weakness. I found this out by trial and error. I went through all my rakes to see if you could rake this one. I don't think there are any security pins in here at all. Actually, if you look at why I put this in upside down, it focuses on there. Hopefully you can see that when I put this in, and if I do that, you can see that almost exactly the curves on this Bogota when put upside down just seem to align with the pin positions. You know, it's almost like I'm putting in the key. That's why it's quite a quick open, quite a quick rake. You can imagine that if I was using a city rake, yeah, I might get this open. There might be a position, maybe there, that might pop it open, especially if I move it back and forth and put some light tension on. But yeah, less of a chance, I think. It's possible that my snake rake could have done that as well. So, you know, you can see that as I scrub it back and forth, it might hit that pin up and then move to this one, then this one and this one. It might just replicate that. Again, hard to say. I think next time I might look at some other bypass techniques and maybe introduce you to this Dangerfield Serenity kit, which is very similar to the excellent Mad Bob's Ghost Pro kit. Okay, thanks for listening.